Make sure I have prepped everything first. Make sure that video works. Okay. All right, we're good. Hold on. Let me make sure. All right. Bill Maher recently interviewed Amy Klobuchar in what had to be the most pathetic interview I've seen thus far in 2019. Not one policy was proposed, and a bunch of cringy cliches were thrown out there with virtually no meaning behind them. There were so many words in this video, but not one productive statement was made. Take a look at this first part, and then we'll talk about it.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so Trump was in Minnesota.
That's right.
He says he can win it. That is the state that they are.
That's wrong. So.
That's wrong?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one they think they can flip.
Well, that is not going to happen as long as I'm leading the ticket. And one of the reasons that I think we need to bring more people in is because we've got to win not just Minnesota, which was close last time in his race, but then I came storming back in 2018 and won every Republican congressional district. And what we need to do is to extend that out to Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. I just went to all of those states, met with carpenters, met with dock workers, people who he had made promises to that have been left behind by President Trump. Well, and so what I want to do is build a blue wall around those states.
Oh, I heard that term last time.
But
didn't work out so well.
I'm going to make him pay for it.
Well,
That was so bad. What does that mean, Amy Klobuchar? What does that mean? Amy Klobuchar literally reminds me of that famous old episode. I don't know if you all remember this. That famous episode from Family Guy where Lois Griffin ran for mayor and she just had to say, 9/11 was bad. And then she said like 9/11. That's a really weird Lois impression. And the audience would like give her a standing ovation, right? That episode was this interview summed up. You're going to build a blue wall? How? What are you going to do? Gosh. She even gave this face at the end there. Like a gotcha moment. Like like it was something that she landed perfectly. But that's the thing, Amy, is that you can't land anything because you have nothing substantive to land. You just throw cliches that don't mean anything. You might as well just say, I'm with her, or better yet, 9/11 was bad, right? And you'd be able to land better than you just did right there. I'm gonna build a blue wall and I'm gonna make him pay for it. Oh my gosh. Keep in mind that Bill Maher prefers Amy Klobuchar over Joe Biden right now. Let that sink in for a minute. Amy Klobuchar over Joe Biden. Bill Maher, it's like, Bill Maher, it was Joe Biden #1, but now that he's a falling stock, now it's Amy Klobuchar. Well, what about those other people in the that person way on the left, a part of the stage, on the debate stage, who no one even recognizes exists? Everyone's like, who's Amy Klobuchar? Isn't that one that's like John Delaney, but a female version? Yeah, that one that no one recognized, that's Amy Klobuchar. That's the one Bill Maher's like, yep, that's her. That's President 2020 right there. Amy Klobuchar can't even land a gotcha on Joe Biden in the debates. And he's like the easiest person to dunk on. There's so much you can dunk on, and she literally can't. Why would you support a candidate who has tried way too hard to dunk on her opponents, but just misses every single time? It's not over, though. Take a look at this next video.
And we have a real fired up base right now, and that is going to be so important. People who have felt hurt by this guy, hurt by his rhetoric, wake up in the morning seeing him go after their entire city and calling it rat infested. Those things have happened. But when you get to the middle of the country, his trade war has hurt a bunch of our farmers. They've got soybeans mounting up in bins. His rhetoric is not what people want to have their kids listen to, and they have to turn down the TV every single time he goes on TV. I remember the days when if you didn't agree with the president, or maybe you didn't even vote for them, you'd be proud to say, this is my nation and this is my leader. That's not true with this president. When you look at what he has done, so to me, this is about economics and not standing up like I would and taking on the pharmaceutical industry and not doing anything when it comes to training people and making sure they're ready for the jobs of tomorrow and immigration reform. It's about all those things, but it's also about values. We believe in America.
But how are you going to do those things? How? You're going to take on the pharmaceutical industry. How? Finish that thought. You can't just say immigration reform and pretend like that's a policy. Like, oh, yeah. I support her because of immigration reform. That's why I support her. That's not a thing to run. That's not a policy. Trump wants immigration reform, and so does Bernie. But people want to know what you mean, Amy. What do you mean by immigration reform? Of course, instead of addressing even a shred of insight into her positions, she jumps to values. But she doesn't clarify any values whatsoever. Like, I could play the rest of the video. There's not a single value she mentions. She just mentions how she's going to win big. She's going to win big. She's going to build a wall. It's going to be huge. Right? That's what she says. I don't see how you can win big when you can't even tell us what you stand for. It's not over, though. There's more. Amy Klobuchar managed to also crap on Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren in this interview in the most predictable possible way. She landed this point even worse this time, though. Take a look.
So for me, it is, of course, going to those states. I don't have as much money as a number of my opponents, but I have enough money to win. We're doing this the right way, the grassroots way, and building up endorsements and support. And that's how you win an election in America. And that's the path
I mean, obviously, this is a fight between two wings of the party, which is almost every election. There is a center in the Democrat, a center-left wing. You're plenty liberal. You're plenty progressive. And then there's a far left, which I think would be represented by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We all like them, too. Are they too left? Is Elizabeth Warren too far left to get elected in a general election?
Again, I want to win big. And if someone is looking to kick 149 million Americans off their current health insurance in 4 years, then I'm not your candidate.
There it is. You're throwing everyone off of their private insurance while simultaneously putting them on the best possible insurance policy you can construct. That's Medicare for all. Literally, zero deductible, zero copay, zero premiums, and you can pick any doctor who offers services in the US. That's all in the bill. He wrote the damn bill, right? Like that. If you disagree with that, then that's just your feelings. Because that's what the law that's what the bill says for Bernie's Medicare for all. That's what it clearly states. It's just not debatable. Why would you make a point that people are getting kicked off their health insurance? She goes on, by the way, to talk about how people are getting kicked off their health insurance. You know, it's not fair. It's not, imagine if I wanted to give you a free car, but that I'd force you to get rid of your old one. This new car is a Tesla Roadster, let's suppose. Would you be pissed off? Would you be pissed off? There's a reason that Medicare for All has over 70% support, Amy Klobuchar, and it's because your stupid arguments are stupid. She then made this argument that Sanders and Warren want to send. She said this in the interview. She made this argument that Sanders and Warren want to send rich kids to college for free. Let me play the rest of this video, and then we'll talk about that.
on board,
If you want to use a bunch of hardworking people's money to send rich people's kids to college for free, then I'm not your candidate. And just because people say ideas are bold doesn't mean they're bold. They may be bad.
See, there it is. Like, but that's not what free college is, Amy. In fact, that's how college works right now. If you want to go to college, you better first be rich so that you can afford it. And if you're rich enough, it's basically free. It's free, right? If college is free for the rich right now, it's relatively free for the rich. The point of making college free is that people can get into college based on what's called merit, not riches. She knows that, though. She knows that. She's one of the worst candidates I've ever seen. She's down there with John Delaney at this point. In fact, I went to these candidates' YouTube channels. Listen to this. Bernie Sanders has over 233,000 subscribers right now. John Delaney has, 558 subscribers total. I have more subscribers than John Delaney on YouTube right now. All his videos that he posts and on Twitter and everything, they go up there. All his ads, they go up there. He has 588 subs. That's it. Amy Klobuchar has, 386. That's it. Amy, you need to drop out. You'll never be president. You'll never be president. And you probably won't even win again in the Senate in 2024.